Now, it is claimed the return of Ennis's mobile shower for rough sleepers is restoring dignity for the local homeless community. The twice-weekly service, located in Friar's Walk Bus Park, has officially resumed for 2026 after first launching last August and will operate each Monday and Friday. The service, run by Fiona Faulkes, currently has 7 regular users, but this uptake is also expected to grow significantly as the year progresses. Clare FM's Daragh Dolan visited the setup yesterday and began by speaking with a former service user, now turned volunteer.
I've been involved with this now, I would say, about 8 to 10 months. And it's just, I'm friends with Fiona. And she started coming up with the idea from the beginning, and I thought it was a waste of time. But when you see it start to go, I said, yeah, why not? So then I got involved with it from there. And that's where I've been with it. That's how I got involved. I had been homeless and I did use it. So that was the start of it.
How did you find it when you used it yourself?
How did I find it? I found it great. You have to think about it, if you haven't had a wash in a few days and you get in there, you got powerful water coming down on top of you. And plus the fact it's warm. It's going to change your attitude when you get out of it, isn't it?
How did you come to know about the homeless service?
Well, as I say, I've been friends with Fiona for a long time. And Fiona, as I said, she talks, boom, that's how she got it going. If she wasn't such a good talker, it wouldn't be there.
And could you tell me maybe about your own life? Because obviously you were homeless not too long ago and you had to use this service. How long were you, I suppose, homeless? How did you come to living on the streets?
Well, really, it's 2 cases of more losing your job, not being able to afford your rent. I'm not homeless now. I had been for about 18 months. And after that, I got sorted to have a place. And we've gone from there. So since then, I've started to volunteer with Fiona in our shower.
You've wanted to give something back?
Well, I know what it's like. Especially if you're out there in the cold and you're getting up and you're wet, cold, and you have a shower to get into. You get out of your bed every morning, you have a shower. You don't think nothing of it. Big difference if you have to get up in the morning, you've no shower, and then someone offers you one. You're going to feel like a totally different person.
Complete mood booster for the day.
Well, mood booster, and it gives you something to look forward to. You're clean. You can go out. As I say, you can walk places. You can go in and out of shops. People are going to look at you different.
And obviously you've fallen on hard times yourself. You mentioned there about job losses that were your unfortunate circumstances in the past that I suppose caused you to become homeless. Is it a bit of a thing there where, like, look, you feel embarrassed almost if, look, you don't have access to a shower, that you feel like you can't go into a shop, you feel like you can't meet people, maybe you feel like you can't engage in public activities?
Well, you can't, really, do you know what I mean? If you could get into a gym, if you have the money to get into a gym, there's another side of it. You'll be able to get a shower. But otherwise you can't do anything. You walk into that library across the road there, and if you're stinking and you're sitting down, eventually they're going to have to ask you to leave, because you're going to put everyone else out of the place. And it's for everyone, but they're going to have to do it. And that's because you don't have the facilities to clean yourself. So it does help a long way.
So it restores a bit of dignity, really.
Well, even to be able to go there, you're homeless. If you were clean, you could sit inside in that library, pick up a newspaper and read it for a couple of hours, and they kill a couple of hours in the day for you. Do you know?
And how have you seen this service grow? Have you seen a lot of people use it over your last 8 to 10 months?
There's more people starting to use it now, but if you had it at a bigger junction, do you know what I mean? You're looking at it here, everyone can see what you've done.
Yeah.
Do you know, if you had a bit more privacy, you'd have a bit more time.
And I know we are working to get a trailer involved in this today. Today we've a bit of a mishap with our barriers. The lock that actually unlocks I can see it just across from me, our scaffolding barriers that go across this shower happens to be seized today, so that will be back next week or later this week. But I know a trailer is something huge that you'll be pushing for too.
Yeah, well, a trailer, caravan, a trailer like this one here, no cattle trailer, no horse box, something that we could do up and eventually put the shower into. We could bring it on the road then. There's not just homeless people in Ennis, they're all over the country, they're all over the county. People that enjoy it.
And did you get to know other people that were homeless in Ennis when you were in that situation yourself through, I suppose, maybe the different charities, the homeless action team, maybe just the different places that you have to go?
You'd meet people in the big town. You know the town yourself, you're a journalist from the local news, so you know the town. It's not big. You walk around that town, you probably know half the people that's homeless in the town yourself just by walking it. So you don't really need to interact with services. You're going to see them. Everyone can see them just walking the town.
And have you been able to tell them about this?
About who? The people?
Just the service, yeah.
I've spoke to some people about it. Some people are interested in it. Some people just look and say, yeah. It's just the way it's going to have to go. we're just going to have to take our time and see what we can do.
Fiona Faulkes, you're the organiser and founder of the Ennis mobile shower service for the homeless and rough sleepers. You got it up and running last August after a lengthy campaigning and fundraising effort. Could you tell me a little bit about the operation that we have right here? We're actually standing inside the shower. There's a big puddle of water on the floor from our first trial run. We're in a lovely Quetcha tent which can withstand winds, I've been told, of
65 kilometres.
Up to 65 kilometres an hour. Wow. Could you tell us a little bit about just the operations of this shower unit first of all?
Okay, well, firstly, when I have a client come to use the shower, I get them to fill out an insurance waiver. As I say, they check the equipment. If they're happy with it, there's no question. I have the shower itself, the Calagas shower, it cuts off the minute there's any water flow cut, so it's very safe. I also have a fire extinguisher, I have medical, and I have warning signs around the tent as well. Now, once the person comes in and signs their waiver, I give them a towel and a care pack. If I have the donations, they'll get a clean pair of socks and some boxers, because there's absolutely no point in having a shower and having to put your dirty socks back on. But I can only donate clothes if people donate to me, so I can do the absolute basics myself. Now, the shower tent itself, it's inflatable, so all the poles are safe. It's well pegged out, so it won't fall over. Inside there's a shower tray, which is the one full of water at the moment because we were demonstrating it, and the shower head, as I say, you can turn it on and off yourself, and there's hot water coming out of it. You can use the shower overhead, or you can just come and bring a chair in and just wash your feet. From my own experience, I've actually had trench foot from when I was on the streets, and it is miserable because there is nowhere to take your shoes off and just wash your feet and just let them air and dry and put your socks back on. It's really, but so if they want it, don't oblige to have a shower, say come in, just wash your feet, I've got clean socks, and that can be good enough to start a day sometimes.
Fiona, this is your first day having it up and running this year. Could you tell us a little bit about the road to that? Because obviously, look, I mean, people might wonder at home, they might think, look, excellent service, but we could have done with it in January, February, March. It's very weather dependent too. As
it is at the moment, yes it is. I mean, the tent itself can withstand the weather, but my equipment can't. Well, my Calagas, I mean, it won't be able to work with the rain. So I've been very weather dependent. I mean, thankfully now it looks as though it's improving. At the moment we're fundraising to get a trailer, and that means I'll be able to operate all year round. And it was simply all the equipment would be there, we'd pull up with the trailer, put the legs down, and away we go. So that will be all year round.
And I know you had the GoFundMe in the past to, look, I suppose, get the seed funding for this, but by and large, the day-to-day of this, even the little care packages you have there, that's all coming out of your own pocket?
Yeah, I have had donations. People do donate to me, but the kind of the day-to-day running, yes, I'm covering the costs. But the actual running of it, once it's not too bad. I mean, I'm paying for the gas. I mean, the battery was donated. So it's not terribly expensive to actually have the basic, but as I say, to provide a little bit more, to provide those socks, to make sure they've got a decent towel and everything, yeah, just have to put a little bit of money into it.
And it must be very welcoming for you to see, or comforting for you to see as well, that, look, some of your volunteers that started off using this service, we already know one of them is back here today to help you out.
Oh, it's fantastic, because I say it's with them, it's not doing it for them. That's the distinction. So I need their help, and this is what I've said to them. I can't do this on my own. You want the shower, then come on, give me a hand. And that, it's great. So it's kind of it's very much a community project, and it's good. It's good to see them feeling they got something to do in the morning, not hanging around, and it's a positive experience for everyone.
In terms of your hours, today, we're on a bit of a dry run, a test run today for the first day out of the year, but
yeah.
What days, what hours can we expect to see this operating?
I plan to do it Mondays and Fridays. Of course, there's going to have to be a bit of a wiggle room with the weather, etc. But Monday ready for the week, Friday ready for the weekend. I like to start setting up at 9 earlier if I could, but I want to be done and dusted by the time the kids come out of school. I don't want anyone around here at all. So that's the plan, kind of between 10, sort of 1 latest. It's my times Monday to Friday. As I say, if it increases, there's more demand, then we'll go up more times.
And I'm sure, and I know it's very early days yet, and it's maybe pipe dream stuff at the moment, but I'm sure, look, if you had the trailer, you'd love to either maybe have multiple locations or just be able to bring it to Ennis and maybe to Kilrush, to Shannon as well.
Exactly, it will make such a difference, and hopefully I'll get someone better to put it as well. So this service is in its infancy at the moment, so very, very basic. I've got a tent, I've got a shower, I can make hot water, happy days. What will come from this when I get a trailer is it's going to be more of an outreach service. It's for the people who don't want to engage with services, but they're valued people, they still need help, but I want to develop it into a care centre as well. So there's a volunteer who can cut hair, there's another volunteer I know is nurse, so they'll be able to impact. And also it's about a community, it's about people socialising as well. So it's about that kind of hub, which isn't kind of part of authority, so to speak. It's a group of us just trying to make better for ourselves.
And since it started last August, what kind of usage are you getting a day? How many, I suppose, regular users are you seeing attend?
Well, I've got seven people who've come to use the shower repeatedly as well. About 3 to 4 in a session, but it all depends. I don't how long they need to get changed and everything, because it can take a while when you've been sleeping out. There's a lot of layers. So.
And what kind of feedback are they giving you? How do they generally feel after they've left?
Great. Absolutely delighted. I had 2 lads that were over the moon with it. They were really, really pleased. Because initially I wasn't going to bring it down because it was raining a little bit, and then they said, look, please, it's absolute emergency, we really need to get together. And they were fantastic. They helped us put it up. They were great, absolutely brilliant. So yeah.
And you mentioned you've been liaising with Community Gardaí as well. What kind of, I suppose, response have they given to this?
Very positive, very positive. They see that it's a need. They know too well what the lads are like when they've not been able to get cleaned up on the streets. So yeah, they came down to have a look at it. They're very happy with it. They will be promoting it on their social media pages as well. I have. They're here if I need them. So if there is any antisocial behaviour, they're here. So I feel protected.
You will only be taking people that do arrive, I suppose, in a sober state. Yes,
absolutely. They have to be sober. They have to be sober. They have to be not high. I need people to have some sensibility. I'm starting off before the off licences open as well. So most of the lads will be sober if they are drinkers, so they can get cleaned up and then go on their merry way. But yeah, it's very important. I don't want any of that. But it's also disruptive as well. If someone's coming, they've got a drink in them, they'll have a row with someone. You just don't need that. So yeah, they'll be asked to leave. If there's any trouble inside the shower tent, if I find any evidence or anything, they will be barred for the service from a period of time. I won't tolerate anything like that.
And Fiona, what motivated you to set up the shower service? Did you see other examples, I suppose, in other counties?
Well, I didn't see anything in Ireland. When I was researching, I found a company in LA, in San Francisco, in Australia. So I sought their help. The ones in LA were brilliant. But in Ireland, no, I've not seen anything like this before. But the thing is, I feel that every council should make hygiene facilities available to all of their citizens, because it's so necessary. It's a very important part of us in the community and society to stay clean so we can interact. And every council ought to be providing these facilities. This was always intended to be an outreach service as an auxiliary service to services that are supposed to be already here, but I found that this is the only one going.
And we often do see the public toilets in different cities, and we've had them in Ennis in the past, and they can be very difficult to maintain. But I suppose, Fiona, people will be wondering, what compelled you to do this? What's your own story?
Well, I was homeless for a good long time in London and a few other places around England, and I functioned because I could get cleaned up in the morning. I'd wake up, I'd go down to the day centre, get cleaned up, I had storage, I could get some breakfast, there was a nurse, there was a doctor, there were people there to talk to, there were housing agencies, etc, etc. So I stepped out of that hostel. I could have come out of home. You wouldn't know, looking at me, that I'd been sleeping on the streets that night before. So I could function, I could go in places, I could go to art galleries, I could sit in libraries, which is where I studied to go to university, and it was good. I could function normally. Some of the people the weekends were difficult because there was nowhere to get cleaned up for the weekend, so you really had to kind of set yourself up. It wouldn't be open until Monday, so you had to be organised. It is so important to be able to get presentable, and for people to take you seriously, you have to be presentable.
And thanks to Clare FM's Daragh Dolan for bringing us that report.